recently we looked at 10 actors who could play the next Doctor. So naturally, the next step is to cast their co-star. The Doctor may have the privilege of having their name in the show's title, but the companion is just as important. All the more so in the revival, where they're practically co-leads. There's only one rule for our picks here. They have to be viable names that I can actually see agreeing to the role. So no Hollywood actors or global superstars here. Though that's not to say that some of these wouldn't be a huge deal for the show to sign. Also, in order to really dial in on why each person on this list would be a great fit, and also because it's fun, I'll be pitching a rough character outline that would suit the actor, along with the Doctor that I believe would complement them best. So with that in mind, I'm Ellie for WhoCulture, and here are 10 actors who could play the next companion. Number 10. Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving has built a career out of playing badasses, becoming a staple of the horror thriller scene with the likes of Ready or Not, The Babysitter, and Guns Akimbo. She excels at playing snarky, chaotic characters, often with a glint of mischief and a penchant for violence. For some time, I've been hoping for a companion that is less of a traditional hero, with a rougher edge that the Doctor could help to smooth out. Weaving's characters tend to verge onto the reckless, self-serving side, which is precisely the shift in energy we need for the show right now. Not easily impressed and someone of action, not words. Irritable but pragmatic and competent. This would be the chance for a character more akin to River Song, the best character, or Jack Harkness, to step into the full-time spotlight, something fans have been asking about for some time. I also reckon Weaving would nail portraying a companion from the far future or a different planet altogether, an archetype that's really dropped off in the revival, and has been reserved for secondary companions only. Now here's the vision. A hacker type from the far future with criminal ties, few moral scruples, and quick temper, paired with a measured mentor figure Doctor that might indulge her tendencies more, while providing some interesting moral discussion. A McCoy type, for instance. If we'd ever got a War Doctor series, I can also see this type of companion being a good fit as well. Number 9. Rose Matafeo. Rose Matafeo's profile has been steadily rising for many years now. The British viewing public might recognise her best for her stint on Taskmaster, but she's got some pretty solid acting work under her belt too, namely Starstruck, a rom-com she co-created and starred in where she played Jessie, a character with the wit and wonder that's a staple of any Doctor Who companion. She even played a pretty prominent role in the second Moana film and has most certainly expanded her repertoire beyond just comedy. Matafeo feels like a great fit for the show. She can sell a joke, land a moment of sincerity, and look utterly at home amid nonsense that the show so frequently churns out. As a companion, she'd slot right into that sarcastic but kind-hearted every woman niche that Donna Noble and Bill Potts occupied in the past, but with some added Kiwi flair. And let's face it, we really don't have enough non-British companions, which is a trick the show might be missing in this modern era of worldwide streaming. So the vision here, a bubbly, modern-day woman with a chaotic but everyday life, who's not afraid to call the Doctor out and lend some levity to the situation, paired with a Doctor like Tennant that can banter with her and match her mad energy. Number 8. Phil Wang. Phil Wang hasn't done a whole lot of acting yet, but he's clearly looking to push into it more, most recently appearing in Wonka and Three Body Problem. He feels like a Doctor Who companion waiting to happen. His comedy, for which he's best known, has seen him hone a persona that's both sharp and endearingly self-deprecating. The perfect bumbling intellectual with a heart of gold, who's constantly tripping over his own words and landing himself in trouble. This sort of bashful charm is a great fit for the show. He's the type of character who would spend an entire alien invasion politely apologising for getting in their way, then accidentally save the day by doing something sensible no one else thought of. I imagine he'd serve a similar place in a TARDIS dynamic as Rory, the lovable and underestimated fool with a quiet bravery, and would perhaps be best served in a TARDIS trio to bounce off a more traditional companion. So the vision here is a white-collar worker in an underappreciated desk job that stumbles into chaos and manages to save the day, and might just become the most important person in the universe against all the odds, paired with a more nurturing Doctor like Matt Smith who could help him realise his full potential. Number 7. Denise Gough. Few actors command a room quite like Denise Gough. Right now, she's probably best known as Andor's dead Ramiro, a relentless and self-righteous Imperial officer who can be genuinely terrifying at times. What's most impressive about Gough's performance, though, is the fact that she's able to inject such a cold and often cruel character with a surprising amount of humanity and relatability. She strikes a similar balance of steely detachment and vulnerability as Yennefer in the video game adaptation of The Witcher, bringing life and depth to a character who, on paper, could so easily read as fairly blunt. Off-screen, Gough has a different personality entirely, one that's brimming with mischief and quirkiness, an ingredient I reckon would round her out very well as a companion. Gough would bring a no-nonsense energy to the TARDIS, the sort that cuts through the technobabble and moral posturing, not entirely dissimilar to a full-time companion version of The Waters of Mars' Adelaide Brooke, but with the charm of Sarah Jane Smith. This would be a character brimming with intensity, be that a seething anger or a quiet sadness. She could even play a more duplicitous companion with her own motivations, a modern-day attempt at doing a Turlo-type arc, but properly this time. So the Vision is a distinguished unit scientist, secretly reporting back on the Doctor's movements. I see her best paired with a zany incarnation that can press her buttons and maybe occasionally force her to crack a smile. One cut from Tom Baker's cloth. Number 6. Jamie Demetriou. Jamie Demetriou has built an entire career out of playing confidently incorrect morons. In Stath Lets Flats, his turn as the well-meaning but incompetent estate agent Stath was a masterclass in oblivious enthusiasm. There's an unconventional blend of ego and endearing innocence to most of his roles that would make him an interesting departure from New Who's companion archetypes. A more traditional laddish companion who serves as the Doctor's best mate. The sort of bloke who thinks he's there to help the Doctor save the day, when in reality he's the one being quietly supervised. We're aiming for a similar dynamic to Eleven and Craig here, although with 100% less James Corden. Demetriou is a bit of a rising star, having secured a mid-sized role in Barbie similar to Ncuti Gatwa. He's at the sweet spot of fame right now. He obviously has the comedy chops, and his characters with their oblivious honesty often find themselves offending the wrong people, but never in a way that feels cruel. As a companion, he'd be a return to the grounded, working-class vibes of RTD1. In stark contrast to Rose, however, this would be a man who doesn't understand half of what's happening but pretends to, and gives it his all anyway. So here's the Vision, a council worker who absolutely loves his job, falling into an unlikely buddy cop drama as he saves the universe while repeatedly failing to get the Doctor down the Red Lion for a pint. This needs to be a chalk and cheese bromance, so I'd pair him with a crotchety old Doctor like Hartnell who would despise him at first but thaw with time. Number 5. Bill Bailey. Bill Bailey might just be the ideal oddball companion for the Doctor. Over the years, he's built a career playing quirky, intellectual types in shows like Black Books, as well as being a long-term staple of the UK panel show scene on shows like Nevermind the Buzzcocks and QI, where he's not just shown off his quick wit, but also his intelligence and general geekiness. His stand-up already leans into the surreal and absurd. For example, he once reimagined the Doctor Who theme as Belgian jazz. Bonus points here, as he's a massive fan of the show as well, so that's always a plus. He's also appeared in the show before, but no one remembers the Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, so I reckon we'll get away with that one. I imagine him as a full-on sci-fi geek companion, brimming with references and quick to make meta comments about predictable plotlines and grandstanding villains. Likely a little bitter, but with a lovely spirit ready to be reawakened as he lives his own adventure. It's absolutely crazy that we've not had a companion cut from this cloth to date. It seems such an obvious path. So the Vision here is a washed-up punk rocker working in a comic store, living vicariously through old sci-fi comics, who finds himself becoming the star of his own story. He needs to be paired with a cheery Doctor who can cut through his grumpiness and anarchistic mindset. One who delights in sharing the wonders of the universe with him. Someone like Jodie Whittaker would be absolutely perfect. Number 4. Holliday Grainger. Holliday Grainger is perhaps best known for playing Lucrezia Borgia in The Borgias and Robin Ellicott in BBC's Strike series, both deeply cunning and inquisitive characters. In Strike, Grainger plays a private investigator that could easily be picked up and dropped into Doctor Who with no edits required. Robin is the kind of character who notices details others miss, asks the right questions, and has the toughness to face danger head-on. Opposite Tom Burke, she's the beating heart of a heroic duo, often picking up the charm while Strike's its titular character is busy brooding. This show has that doctor-companion dynamic in spades, and is about the best audition tape you could get for a TARDIS duo. The Borgias sees Grainger play a slightly more manipulative character, having evolved from a somewhat naive young girl to someone who will do whatever it takes to see her family remain on top. It's this versatility that makes Grainger one of Britain's most underrated actors, and Doctor Who feels like the perfect fit. She'd be a safe but strong choice for the show, with the quintessential companion energy giving us an insightful and intelligent sidekick who isn't afraid to challenge the Doctor. If you're looking for a Clara Oswald type, you couldn't do much better. So what's the vision? An investigative journalist, if it ain't broke don't fix it, right? Who feels more like the Doctor's equal than his assistant, paired with a conflicted and cerebral Doctor like Capaldi, who she can anchor when needed. Number 3, Celia Imrie. Celia Imrie would shatter expectations as a Doctor Who companion simply by existing in the TARDIS. Historically, the show has leaned towards younger companions, leaving the older, wiser perspective largely unexplored. We've had Wilfred Mott, but the Doctor is yet to travel with an older woman on a regular full-time basis. Imrie brings everything you could need from that portrayal. A commanding presence and a prim and proper persona, tempered by a cheeky twinkle, the kind of warmth that seeps through even the sternest expression. Plus, if her stint on Celebrity Traitors is anything to go by, this woman is a total oddball and a comedic delight. I'm imagining Adelaide Brooke's rigid morals combined with Wilfred Mott's quiet humanity and wholesomeness. Plus, she's just a phenomenal actress. In her brief appearance on Doctor Who in The Bells of St. John, she delivered one of the series' most quietly heartbreaking moments of New Who, as her deliciously evil Miss Kislet is reverted to the mind of a little girl, having lost a vast portion of her life to the Great Intelligence's mind control. Seriously, that scene is bleak. Her extensive career, from Calendar Girls to The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel and most recently The Thursday Murder Club, demonstrates her blend of authority, charm, and whimsy. She's a bit of a national treasure these days, but still within reaching distance for the show. So the vision is a retired MI6 agent with a forensic mind and a love for crochet. Unassuming, but capable of clobbering you with a handbag if you step out of line. She'd fit a snappier, more verbose Doctor, capable of bickering with her like a married couple one moment, but also bonding over juicy gossip and general moaning about manners. Colin Baker, as old 6C, would nail this. Number 2, Aimee Lou Wood. Aimee Lou Wood is currently one of television's most popular young actors. After her breakout role as Amy Gibbs in Sex Education, she's gone from strength to strength, with a prominent role in White Lotus and an acclaimed performance in Toxic Town opposite Jodie Whittaker. She may be punching above the weight of Doctor Who a little bit, but she'd certainly get eyes on the show. Wood possesses a warmth, vulnerability, and innocence that's wrapped up in a very natural, very relatable delivery. On top of that, as seen in Sex Education, she's wickedly funny. She's an actor that manages to be endearing and compelling in pretty much every role, and I can see her absolutely nailing the companion role, be that flipping out at her first alien world or bombarding the Doctor with the questions no one ever asks. She's got an energy and spontaneity that would inject a sense of fun that the show has been failing to capture of late. She'd be a cross between Rose Tyler and Bill Potts, a character that perhaps doesn't think much of her own intelligence, but has that human insight that so often spots things the Doctor doesn't. So the vision is a young modern-day woman who floats through day-to-day life, job to job, feeling as if she hasn't found her rhythm. We need a Doctor who's a little lost themselves, so the two can find purpose together. It needs to be an incarnation with emotional baggage, but also one that can match Wood's funny and bubbly energy. So it's got to be Eccleston, hasn't it? Before we get to number 1, I want to add a bonus entry right here, and that is Bella Ramsey. Probably best known for their role as Lyanna Mormont in Game of Thrones and Ellie in The Last of Us, they've showcased a talent for playing intense and mature characters at such a young age. But at the same time, their appearance gives off a real sense of childlike innocence and curiosity that I think would lend itself very well to Doctor Who. Something that the modern era in particular has really been lacking is a companion that isn't human, and I think Bella Ramsey would be a great fit to portray a companion that is from a different planet, who is constantly inquisitive and asking questions about the world that the Doctor is showing them. So my vision here is a young alien character who the Doctor stumbles across and at first tries to dismiss, but eventually takes under his wing and almost becomes a father figure towards. I'm thinking this needs to be a Doctor with a softer demeanour, but also an awkwardness at this newfound parental responsibility. I'm thinking something like Peter Davison's 5th Doctor would be a good fit. And now, number 1, Charlotte Ritchie. Charlotte Ritchie is impossible not to like in pretty much everything she does. She's best known for her roles in Ghosts and Call the Midwife, where she balances warmth, curiosity, and humour. She has a naivety and wonder about her without undercutting her character's intellect or competency, while simultaneously imbuing her performances with a very human awkwardness. All of these are traits that would translate beautifully to life in the TARDIS. She'd be a very positive and optimistic presence in the TARDIS, excitable and always seeing the best in people, and in the Doctor too. Ritchie has actually appeared in Doctor Who before, spending most of Resolution with a Dalek on her back. She might be better known for her comedy acting, but she's done more than her fair share of high-stakes, more serious work too, and she's certainly got the emotional range. Like I mentioned earlier, we've not seen nearly enough companions from other eras, and in the case of Ritchie, she has energy that's perfect for a companion from the past, that's blown away by the smallest facets of modern life, not to mention experience in period dramas. So the vision is an early 1900s school teacher with a strong duty of care and a genuine desire to help others. To get the most out of a character like this, she needs to be paired with a doctor that she can pull out of the dark and help to find themselves. You need a restrained doctor here to balance and complement the relentless happiness of their companion. So I'm thinking McGann, to double down on those Edwardian vibes. Early Time War 8th Doctor with all that trauma and denial would be an ideal fit. And that concludes our list. Now, if you have a suggestion for who should be the next companion, then please do let us know in the comments down below. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we do have a video of 10 potential actors to play the 16th Doctor, so do check that out as well. In the meantime, I've been Ellie for WhoCulture, and in the words of River Song herself, goodbye, sweeties.